The man who missed the train. One story, one lesson, one calmer mind. Rain had been falling over the city since late afternoon. Not the kind that came down hard enough to stop anyone, just the cold, persistent kind that seemed determined to make everything more difficult. Daniel Mercer hated days like this. His shoes were wet, his phone at 12%. His umbrella had turned inside out twice. And according to the glowing numbers on the screen, he had 11 minutes to catch his train. Daniel walked faster, then faster still. He had taken this route hundreds of times, across the intersection, past the coffee shop, down 2 blocks, through the station doors, escalators, platform 3, train, home. Simple. At least it was supposed to be. Tonight, nothing seemed interested in cooperating. The pedestrian signal turned red just as Daniel reached the intersection. Of course. He stood there bouncing impatiently on the balls of his feet. Across the street, people moved beneath umbrellas, while headlights streaked across the pavement. Daniel looked at his phone. 9 minutes. The signal changed. He hurried across, then stopped again. A woman with a stroller in the doorway of the coffee shop, struggling with a stroller, trying to hold the umbrella over a little girl beside her. People squeezed past. Daniel almost did too. Almost. Then he grabbed the door. Here. The woman looked up. Oh, thank you. Daniel nodded. But while she maneuvered the stroller through the doorway, he looked at his phone again. 8 minutes. He sighed. The woman heard him. Sorry, he said. Daniel immediately felt embarrassed. No, you're fine. But he already started walking. Half a block later, someone bumped his shoulder. Coffee splashed across Daniel's coat. Seriously? The young man turned around. My bad, man. I'm sorry. Daniel looked at the stain. You could watch where you're going. The stranger raised his hand. I said I'm sorry. Daniel muttered something under his breath and kept moving. 6 minutes. By the time he reached the station entrance, his walk had become a jog. Then he saw the escalator. A maintenance barrier blocked it. Out of service. Daniel stared at the sign. You have to be kidding me. The stairs was packed. People moved slowly downward. Daniel squeezed around them whenever he could. Excuse me. Sorry. Coming through. An older woman carrying 2 shopping bags struggling downstairs ahead of him. Daniel looked for a way around her. There wasn't one. For a moment, irritation rose inside of him. Then one of the bags ripped open. Oranges rolled down the steps. Oh, Daniel stopped. So did several people. One orange rolled into his shoe. Daniel looked towards the bottom of the staircase, then at the clock hanging over the station. His train would arrive any moment now. He could keep going. Someone else could help her. Instead, Daniel bent down, grabbed 2 oranges. Another passenger grabbed 3. Together, they gathered the groceries. "Thank you, young man," the woman said. Daniel handed her the last orange. "You're welcome. It was my pleasure." Then he ran. He reached the bottom of the stairs. The train was almost there. Doors open. People boarding. Daniel sprinted across the concourse. A warning chime sounded. "No, no, no." He ran harder. He ran faster. The doors began closing. "Hold the door!" Daniel reached the platform just as the door sealed shut. He slapped his palm against the glass. "Come on, man." For half a second, Daniel saw his reflection in the window. Wet hair, soaked coat, angry face. Then the train moved, slowly at first, then faster. Daniel stood there breathing heavily as the red lights disappeared through the tunnel. He looked at the departure board. The next train wasn't coming for 43 minutes. Unbelievable. Daniel dropped onto the nearest bench. He pulled his phone out. 5% battery. No. He opened the transit app. It froze. He tapped the screen. Nothing. Come on now. The phone went black. Daniel stared at it. He pressed the power button. Nothing. He leaned back and laughed once. Not because everything was funny. It was the laugh people make when anger has run out of place to go. Bad night. Daniel looked to his left. An older man sat on the opposite end of the bench. Daniel didn't notice him. He wore a black wool coat and held a wooden cane between his knees. Maybe 70, maybe older. There was something unusual about him. He wasn't looking at a phone, wasn't wearing headphones, wasn't reading. He was just simply sitting. Daniel shook his head. "You could say that." The old man looked towards the tracks. Rain, traffic, people, broken escalator, missed train, dead phone. The old man nodded thoughtfully. "That's quite a conspiracy." Daniel looked at him. The corner of the man's mouth lifted. Daniel almost smiled. "Almost. I just wanted to get home." "Understandable. And everything tonight has been slowing me down." The old man looked at Daniel. "Everything?" "Pretty much." "Interesting." Daniel waited. The man said nothing else. Finally, Daniel asked, "What's interesting?" The old man adjusted his hands on his cane. "You keep calling everything that slows you down a problem." Daniel frowned. "Well, when you are trying to get somewhere, that's generally what you call it." "Maybe," the old man said. The old man looked down the empty tunnel. "Or maybe some things aren't stopping you." He paused. "Maybe they're just asking you to stop." Daniel gave a quiet laugh. That's easy to say when you're not the one who missed your train. The old man nodded. You're right. And that was it. No argument, no lecture. But somehow that ignored Daniel even more. They sat quietly. Without his phone, Daniel had nothing to do. So he watched, a janitor slowly pushing a mop across the floor. A young couple shared earbuds while waiting near a column. A little boy stood at the edge of the platform, holding his father's hand, staring into the tunnel as though something magical might emerge from it. Daniel noticed the sound of the rain hitting the station windows. He had never noticed that before. Then the speakers cracked overhead. Attention passengers. Daniel barely listened. Service interrupted. He lifted his head. Due to an accident involving the previous outbound train, Daniel sat forward. The announcement continued. The train Daniel had missed had stopped several stations ahead. Emergency crews were called. The details was not given. No estimate for response service. Daniel stared into the tunnel. The old man didn't say anything. For a few moments, neither did Daniel. Finally, Daniel whispered, "That was my train." The old man nodded. It was. Daniel thought about the evening, the red light, the woman with the stroller, the spilled coffee, the broken escalator, the oranges rolling down the stairs. Every moment he cursed, every delay he fought, every person he silently blamed for standing between him and where he thought he needed to be. Daniel looked at the old man. "You think all of this happened so I wouldn't get on that train?" The old man smiled. "I don't know." Daniel seemed surprised. "I thought you were going to say yes." "No." The old man looked towards the tracks. "Maybe it saved you from something. Maybe it didn't. Maybe you would boarded that train and simply spent an hour annoyed somewhere else." Daniel laughed softly. The man continued, "People are very uncomfortable with not knowing." Daniel looked down. We want every closed door to explain itself. The station grew quiet around them. Every delay needs a reason. Every disappointment needs a purpose. Every ending needs to eventually prove that something better was coming. The old man shook his head. But life doesn't always explain itself. Daniel listened intently. "So what we are supposed to do?" The old man looked at him. "Live anyway." Daniel said nothing. You don't need to know why you missed the train to stop being angry that you missed it. Those words stayed between them. Then headlights appeared at the opposite platform. A train approaching from the other direction. The old man stood. Daniel looked up. "This yours?" "It is." The old man adjusted his coat. Daniel glanced at the cane. You need help? The old man smiled. I'm slow. He started walking, but I'm in no hurry. Daniel watched him go. Just before boarding, the man turned around. Good night, Daniel. Daniel froze. He looked down at his coat. His employee identification badge was still clipped on his pocket. He smiled. Good night. The old man stepped aboard the train. The doors closed, and the train disappeared into the night. Daniel remained on the bench. His phone was dead. His train wasn't coming. His coat was wet. Nothing about his situation had changed, and yet something had. For the first time that evening, Daniel wasn't waiting for the moment to be different. He wasn't wishing he were somewhere else. He simply sat. He listened to the rain. He watched the light shimmer across the wet rails. He noticed his breathing becoming slower. Then Daniel remembered the woman with the stroller. He remembered how she'd smiled when he held the door for her. He remembered the old woman's face when he handed her her last orange that fell. Those moments had seemed like interruptions. Now, he wasn't so sure. Maybe life wasn't a straight line between where he was and where he wanted to be. Maybe the moments between the distractions wasn't obstacles to life. Maybe they were life. Daniel leaned back against the bench, and for once, he didn't check the clock. We spend so much of our lives fighting delays. The relationship that didn't happen. The opportunity that disappeared. The plan that fell apart. The door that wouldn't open. The moment that didn't arrive when we thought it should. And because we cannot see what would have happened on the road we wanted, we assume the road we receive must be wrong. But not every delay needs an explanation. Not every disappointment needs to be revealed by some hidden blessings. And peace doesn't require us to understand everything that happened to us. Sometimes peace begins when we stop demanding an answer from life. Maybe the question isn't, why did this happen to me? Maybe sometimes the question is simply, can I still be at peace? Even if I never know. Daniel thought he had lost 43 minutes of his life. Instead, he finally experienced them. One story, one lesson, one calmer mind. If this story gave you a moment of calm or helped you see something in your own life differently, consider subscribing and joining me for the next Calm Clarity story. Until then, keep choosing calm, keep seeking clarity, and I'll meet you here again.